Hey, everybody. This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good looking friends. If you'd seen my community page, I had posted this photograph up of the Sun's cover page for Saturday. Well, here in the United States, I believe it is already Saturday in the UK, and the story has been published. So let's take a look at what this story says so we can shut this down immediately. We know it's garbage. So, this is the Saturday morning exclusive that everybody's going to see if they go to the website or if they go to buy a newspaper. They're going to see Meghan's ugly face all over the place again. Let's go through and read this article. It begins Prince Harry, and I'll call her Skeletor, sparked a race row by alleging an unnamed member of the royal family spoke about how dark Archie's skin might be when he's born during their Oprah Winfrey interview. But royal author, or I'd like to say the wannabe royal author, Scrappy Doo's book, Endgame, will go further and say that in private letters she wrote to the king, Meghan named two members of the royal household she says took part in the conversations. Here's the thing, let's humor this ridiculous story. First of all, Meghan said there were multiple conversations and she wasn't a part of them. And then let's not forget that Harry went on the same Oprah interview and stated that these conversations happened before they even got married. So Archie wasn't even a factor at the time. So they're going to go ahead and reignite this really stupid story once again in hopes to do what? To change history? No, we're not going to allow that to happen. We're going to have to make sure that these two are put on blast for constantly trying to reshape the narrative as well as gaslight. So it continues on and it says it is not known if the second accused person is a member of the royal family or someone who works for the family, but they are a member of the royal household. Scrappy Doo claims he knows the names, but laws in the United Kingdom prevent me from reporting who they are. Oh, that's so convenient, Scobie. Like, also, Meghan had nothing to do with this book. Well, how did you get that information about what was in those letters if no one has seen them and no one really thinks that they exist? All of this is just some made up bullshit in which Scobie colluded most certainly with Meghan for this piece of so called information. How this woman has not been slapped again with another lawsuit for defamation is beyond me, but I feel like it's coming. Another one is coming, and I think the nail in the coffin is going to be this book. The allegation that there were two people risks reigniting a bitter race row that led the late Queen Elizabeth to respond 3 years ago by saying, recollections may vary. Of course, Skeletor, being the coward that she is going to blame a dead woman who cannot speak back. So, of course, she can tell as many lies as she wants. Here's the thing, you can bet that Meghan learned her lesson with Samantha when the first time around Samantha had filed her lawsuit and bringing in the Finding Freedom. The only reason why that was dismissed was because the information came from Meghan, but it went to Jason Kanoff and then Kanoff to Omid Scobie. So it didn't directly come from Meghan. So I'm sure that Meghan did collaborate, but she collaborated indirectly using the same method. So while Scobie might say, no, Meghan wasn't involved in the book, technically that could be true because she could have had someone else do her dirty work for her, like what she did with Jason Kanoff, which I suspect is what happened here. Anyhow, I digress. Both names are said to appear in letters shared between Meghan and Charles in the spring of 2021, in the wake of the Oprah chat. The book will say Meghan believed unconscious bias and ignorance inside the royal family that needed to be tackled. Oh, that sounds so much like Fugazi Nagazi and Lady Susan Hussey talk. Remember how that whole situation was set up to sabotage William and Catherine, and Ngozi Fugozi, whatever her name is, had suggested these diversity and inclusion courses that she wanted to teach? I'm sure Meghan was looking to be a part of that so she can go in and educate the palace on how to be more inclusive. But continuing, it says, in return, Charles wanted his letters to express he felt no ill will or casual prejudice had been involved. Oh, I see what they're doing here. You can bet that this is all about reshaping the narrative. And because now they recognize that the family will not respond, it sure does appear like they're going to be responding for the family by putting out more false narratives. Does anybody believe that King Charles said this about these so called phantom letters? No. Here we have two people really trying to reshape history, actually, and get people to forget about that Oprah interview and change the narrative so Meghan looks like she is forgiving and it's okay. We know that your ignorance, it can't be helped. So I will forgive you and I'm willing to come back into the fold because it's not your fault that you didn't see how racist you were. Like, you can't make this up. You really can't. But this is the mind of a psychopath. Let me go ahead and finish up this article. In writing back to his daughter in law, Charles wanted to clear up something he felt strongly about, the leaked book will claim. It will say there were no hard feelings about the specific incident, but many other concerns remained unresolved. As a result of the letters and naming of the two people, there was a feeling both had been heard, it will claim. When Meghan was interviewed by Oprah in March 2021, she alleged comments were made during several conversations. She refused to name names, saying, I think that would be very damaging to them. While promoting his book Spare in January this year, Harry denied the couple had made any accusations of racism against the royal family. Instead, the Duke of Sussex said it was a case of unconscious bias. Endgame is Scobie's second royal book after the author, dubbed Meghan's cheerleader, wrote the couple's biography, Finding Freedom, 2 years ago. Despite the claims that the Sussexes had played no role in finding freedom, Meghan's high court case last year heard the couple had briefed favorable stories to Scobie via the aide. Okay, so here are my thoughts. This exercise that they're going through right now is to promote Scobie's book, so he's got to dangle some carrots in there as if he's got the inside track on what was really said in these imaginary letters, all made up by Meghan Markle herself. This book is another attempt to shape this new image of Meghan being this kind, compassionate, and forgiving person. She doesn't hold any malice against the family for their unconscious bias. It's not their fault that they're ignorant. What we're seeing this couple do is essentially make it look like, yeah, things are cool between Papa Chuck and I. Can't you see? I'm texting with the king, even though he doesn't have a cell phone. I mean, you can't make that stuff up, right? And in this situation, they're going to make it look like, yeah, she is this poor victim that was affected by this machine. And William and Catherine are 100% behind all of that. And here's the reason why we've been forced out onto the pavement and no longer have a home in the UK. Now, I do think that there is a serious attempt to get back on the good graces of King Charles. And in this book, by Meghan setting the record straight that it wasn't Charles and Camilla now who were the royal racists, but instead shift the narrative over onto William and Catherine in a way that Meghan knows how to do really well, which is imply things so the reader or the person watching can draw their own conclusion, which is the conclusion that she wants, which is, yeah, William and Catherine are horrible human beings and they shouldn't be the future of the monarchy. Watch, this is how this is all starting to position itself and what I see happening now in Meghan's strategic attempt to topple the monarchy to prevent William and Catherine from ever taking the throne. Good luck, Megsy, with that. You know, the day that that happens is when we start seeing pigs flying across the sky. For now, we just have to sit back and watch what happens next week. I predict that this is going to epically backfire on Meghan and Harry, and Scobie is going to get thrown under the bus, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts below, and as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.